What's going on, guys? Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel coming at you. Tennessee guts one out tonight, 12-6. It's a game that I felt they were firmly in control of, yet it just kept seeming like, hey, Indiana's close to getting back in this thing. But Tony Vitello, I think he pulled the right strings when he needed to, and he helped kind of stop some of the bleeding, for lack of a better term. And this team ekes out. I wouldn't say eke out. They finished with a 12-6 victory. It seemed like most of the game Indiana was threatening, but let's give credit where credit's due. This offense come out on fire tonight, 9-0 after the third inning, and a couple of big innings. Could have been worse with the runners left on base at that point, but then they did what they needed to later on. Cal Stark with the bomb, Kavaris Tears with the 2-run single pushed it out to 12-4, and I just kind of felt like they just did what they needed to tonight to win. And in a day and in a tournament so far that's been as crazy as it's been, like a friend of mine just said on text, survive and advance. That's it. You survive, you advance. You have to be double dipped now in this one. I like Tennessee's chances. I mean, Southern Miss today did save some pitching with their pitch. I think they had a guy go complete game today, so it saved a lot of their pitching. Indiana exhausted a lot of pitching tonight. So, it wouldn't surprise me to see Southern Miss tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. But Seacrest tomorrow night, Nate Snead to come in with him. I think a lot of other guys are still available. We could go Stamos if we have to. Combs didn't throw a lot of pitches tonight. Kirby Cannell, good to go. I like where Tennessee's set up in this one for sure. We got a pretty good little group here to start. 36 people in here. Hopefully one of these nights we can get to 100. One night I want to get to 100 after one of these games. Maybe tomorrow night, maybe tonight. Who knows? Maybe they'll trickle in here in a little bit. But pretty good group to start off here. And what felt like a game that went forever. I had this thing slated to start at 9:30, and it's 10:07 now, so it just kept going and going and going. But let's we'll get a little bit more into that. Let's get in some of the comments here. Papa J, what's up, man? Good to see you in here. Thank you for your generosity. $10 says next up. Let's go Big Orange. Thank you very much, Papa J. I always appreciate your generosity. There we go. It is what it is. Tennessee wins. They move forward. A lot of good tonight. Some bad, some ugly. Yeah, I think a little bit all of it. But let's, I'm going to look at the good, though. The good. Dean Curley comes out. 2-run bomb. Finally got off of that number 9. He'd been at 9 home runs for a while. Gets that 10th home run. Christian Moore, 2-run shot. Puts them up. They get into the next inning. They hit around. Moore with the walk. Blake Burke watched a strike 3. Then Billy Amick grand slam on it. 9-0. Cal Stark with the home run. Kavaris Tears with that hit later on. A lot of good things in that lineup tonight. Now, was there some bad in the lineup? Yeah, absolutely. 13 left on base. I saw some of the comments. I'll get to that in a minute. 13 left on base, 11 strikeouts tonight. That 13 left on base is going to get them at some point if they don't watch it. Thankfully, they did enough tonight with them on base. 11 walks tonight, which was a positive. Way too many. You're not going to see that many walks on a normal basis, but they had good eyes tonight. But still another night with 11 Ks. Granted, 4 of them came from your DH spot, which has been a thorn in the side of this lineup the entire season. And it just seems like they take a couple steps forward and it's a couple steps back at that spot. And I thought Chapman's the right call. I don't know how you trot him back out tomorrow after a 4th strikeout night. He's had a pretty rough couple of nights. I think 6 strikeouts in 2 nights. You got to get somebody else in at that point. And, One time they tried to get him to bunt. He doesn't get the bunt down, and he ends up flying out to left field and moves none. That's a pretty pathetic night. I'm sorry. That's when you can't hit the ball, you better at least be able to bunt. You guys have heard me on here. That's one that'll fire me up in a heartbeat. Some of you guys were in here. Kyle Beach, what's up, man? Good seeing you. Been a really, really long game. Absolutely. Amick, we got that home run against LSU last weekend. Seems to have propelled him right now. He's starting to hit the ball. Got a couple of home runs already. 7 RBIs, I think I heard him say through the first 2 games. We're going to need him. We're going to need him going forward, hitting that ball as well. Announcers getting to 12-6. What about Evansville? What about that Greenville bracket? I think I heard somebody last night on here call it. East Carolina's putting Wake Forest out. If any of you missed that game today, I got into the 8th inning. I come in, it was 4-1 East Carolina. And East Carolina's bullpen tried their best to give that thing away. I mean, their bullpen was awful after Yes Savage was pulled. East Carolina's bullpen could not do much of anything. Wake Forest made a heck of a comeback, 6-4. But then East Carolina comes back and gets 3 in the bottom of the 9th to win it. What a game. So we will not be seeing Wake Forest and Chase Burns and Knoxville. They'll be watching Tennessee the rest of the season. So Wake Forest is out. Evansville rolls tonight over VCU 17-11. So it'll be VCU versus East Carolina in that one tomorrow. The loser goes to the house. The winner plays again tomorrow night. I'm assuming they're 6 o'clock. I'm assuming they'll be the same as Tennessee's regional is as well. So, but that Evansville team looks like the real deal. And a lot of some stuff where I read about said they were a really good 4 seed who could hit the ball. And so they did. They're doing their thing right now. Whoever it is tomorrow night's going to have to bring it against Evansville. They really will. I think East Carolina is still going to have something to say about that. I would not be surprised to see them come through that bracket. But, based on what I saw out of their bullpen today, I would be worried if I was East Carolina because their bullpen, again, Wake Forest can hit. Don't get me wrong. But East Carolina's bullpen was awful today. Just awful. Tennessee finished it. It was, it was for it to be 12-6. There was some nerves a few times. I think Beam come out of the gate hot. He had 2 good innings. I really feel like they had that big inning, which was great. But I feel like it hurt Beam. I don't know if he sat for so long, then all of a sudden he got cold, and he didn't have it after that. It was kind of a Jekyll and Hyde type night for Beam. As first couple innings, excellent. Last couple innings, not so much. 3rd and 4th innings, both. He had a hard time. They pulled him for Andrew Banky. And hats off to Andrew Banky, man. 3 1/3. He got the win tonight. 3 hits, 2 walks, 3 Ks, faced 15 batters. He threw 53 pitches tonight. He really come in and put the fire out at that point. I thought that was big, getting him 3 1/3 inning. Only problem was the guys that come after him, Combs come in and put the fire out as well. It was the right move at the right time when they went to it. But there were some nerves a few times. I mean, Banky at first come in a tough situation. And, he got a heck of a play. Was that, I'm trying to think, is that the one where Christian Moore made the diving play? But, heck of a job from him. But Banky, man, just great job by him tonight. Tom Odell, thank you, Tom. He just says $10. 10-0-0. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys, for your generosity. Very appreciative of that. Let's see what else we got here. Seen a couple complaints on the umps. Umps have a broad strike zone for Indiana. There was some. I don't know half the time if I know what a strike is anymore. I know the strike zones have changed over the years, but some of these strikes and stuff, it looks perfect. They call it a ball. Looks outside. They call it a strike. I just don't get it anymore. I really don't. Let's see. We got 53 of us in here right now. Pretty good little crowd tonight. Make sure if you haven't that you hit that like button. If you're out on social media or anything, share it out. Share it out to any Vol fans that may want to come in, check out some post game. This is the place for Tennessee baseball. I'm not going to be bashful in saying that. This is the place for it. The super chats. Thank you guys for the super chats tonight. Here, I've said it before with super chats. I'm going to put them back into the channel. That's where I'm going, and I'm going to use some of it to expand baseball coverage. One thing I want to bring into it that's not out there is baseball recruiting. Football recruiting's out there. Basketball recruiting is out there. There's nothing basically with baseball coverage, baseball recruiting. I want to bring that in. That way we know abroad, baseball recruiting, as probably most of you know, it's kind of a different animal with the MLB draft and stuff. I mean, we saw guys last year who were signed with Tennessee who never made it to campus. There's a good possibility we're going to run in that again this year because Tennessee has, I think, one of, if not the top rated recruiting class, depending on which outlet you look at. But definitely going to bring some more recruiting for baseball to the channel. And again, it's a lot different just because there's guys that will commit as a freshman in high school. And, a lot of times they stick with it unless there's a coaching change or something. We may get lucky like we did with Nick Senzel years back. He was committed, I think, signed with Georgia. They had a coaching change, and then he ended up coming to Knoxville, which, that was still while the program was not doing too well. But still, yet that was a big pickup for him at the time. But we'll see kind of where that goes with it as well. There's going to be a lot of portal stuff once the season's over. I've already seen, players around the nation hitting the portal, I guess, for teams that, even some teams that have made the tournament. And, as teams continue to go out, we'll probably continue to see more names. Tennessee's going to have some guys hit the portal. I don't think it's going to be any secret that Wyatt Evans, a guy I was high on coming into the season, has never pitched, thrown a pitch this year in the game. Apparently he got in the doghouse early, never pitched. I'd say there's a pretty good possibility you won't see him around after this year. And I don't think that's a bold statement or nothing, just based on, the guy a couple years ago, talent, he factored into the bullpen, got hurt last year. And then, as far as talent, I'm sure he's one of the most talented guys on the pitching staff, but, something, I don't know what, but something just did not jive on that one. Longest game I've watched. Yeah, it was a long game. What, it go about 4 hours tonight? Home plate umpire didn't give us corners. He was inconsistent. Blue tried his best to Indiana. I mean, you look at the amount of walks tonight. That tells you that strike was tight. Indiana had some guys that were a little bit wild, but still, yet 11 walks. That's a high number. That's got to play in the Southern Miss's hands tomorrow, too. But, one thing we saw in Indiana tonight, it is a good baseball team. And they, I don't think I ever felt comfortable about it until it was over. I mean, just because they were threatening every inning. Hats off to them for not just laying down. I just wonder where they're at with their pitching for tomorrow. Now, obviously, they'll have their number 3 guy ready to go. But, how much of their bullpen was taxed tonight, how many of their main guys out of the bullpen are still good to go. It should be an interesting game between Indiana and Southern Miss tomorrow. I picked it in my preview that I thought Southern Miss would win the first one. Tennessee would beat Southern Miss tonight, and then Indiana will beat them tomorrow. I could see it going the other way with Southern Miss win tomorrow, and then we see them tomorrow night. It wouldn't hurt my feelings at all to see Tennessee put Southern Miss out of it. That's nothing against Indiana, but it would not hurt my feelings at all to see Tennessee put Southern Miss out of that thing tomorrow night. But I feel pretty confident either way that Tennessee will be good to go tomorrow night. Let's see. Pop J. Woo, let's go. Ronnie Freeman, lots to like, lots not to like. The like tonight, the power, the home runs were there. Absolutely. They come through a couple times on it. 12 runs. I thought some guys come in. I thought the Kavaris Tears hit, the 2-run single that he had later in the game. I thought that was big at that point just because it was, I think, 10-4 and Indiana had threatened numerous times, but Tennessee come in and got those 2 runs. I thought that was big. I thought those were 2 big runs tonight. I thought Christian Moore at second base for the most part was good tonight. I don't know what happened on that pop-up in the infield. It looks like I don't know if, there was a wind blowing. I know it rained earlier in the game, so I don't know if there was a wind blowing. I don't know what the flip happened, but it was ugly. It was ugly. But, nothing hurt, thankfully, out of that. The good again, Banky. How about Andrew Banky tonight? Save some of that bullpen, I really think. And I think they wanted to save. I really think they had turned it over to Marcus Phillips to close it. But, 1/3 of an inning, 1 hit, 2 runs, both earned, had a walk. He didn't get the job done. Dylan Lloyd didn't he did not even record an out. Come in, 2 hits, 2 batters, 2 hits, 9 pitches. Tony got him out, and it was the right call. He brought Aaron Combs in. I'd said it about that time that you're going to have to get Combs in, and he did. I thought it was the right call at the right time on it. I thought in terms of the way they managed that bullpen, I thought they made the right moves tonight. Now, it's the Lloyd thing didn't work out, but I mean, you look back to last weekend, Lloyd was excellent. I mean, he come in kind of like Banky tonight and, pitched some excellent ball. Phillips did his job. It was interesting with Phillips last week. Don't get me wrong. It was interesting, but he still got through a few innings with it. That's kind of who he's been this year. He'll have that 1 inning that's excellent, and then it's like it's rough after that. But let's see, Sam. Sechrist will start tomorrow night. I don't think there's any doubt on that. I think it'll be Xander Sechrist. And then, I'd say they'll get what they can out of him. Preferably you get 5 to 6 innings out of him. But, there's been times they got 2 to 3 out of him. But I think for sure it'll be Sechrist starting, and then Nate Snead will be ready to go after that. I think they'll stick with the same thing with that. And then I think it's pretty much other than Causey and Beam, looking tonight, look at the pitches. So Banky threw 53. I got to think he's done. He may be done for the weekend on that. Aaron Combs did throw 28 over 1 2/3, but I still got to think if it comes down to it, to put this thing away, Combs will be available tomorrow night. Cannell will be available. Stamos can come in and throw. So really, I would say that other than Causey, Beam threw 87. He's done for the weekend. And I think Banky is done. Could he come back if they had to go into Monday? Possibly, but I don't think they're going to need it. I think they take care of business tomorrow night. Tennessee should be the home team again, I would think. That, I swear to God, some of these rules from the NCAA blows my mind. You earn the right to host, and then you're the visiting team. And I've seen some that cover this before say, well, what's the big deal? What you saw it in the Wake Forest East Carolina game today. You're telling me Wake Forest wouldn't have liked to have been the home team to get that walk-off? East Carolina did. It is a big deal. It is a big deal at the end on it. Tennessee, as a 1 seed, should not have to be the visiting team in their own park. That's ridiculous. And supposedly, back in January 23, they put something in place said that whoever the higher seed is will be the home team. Well, I don't know when it goes into effect, though, because Kendall Rogers of D1 Baseball tweeted it, and they had a retweet of it today. And those guys are like, the NCAA's put it in, but yet they're not implementing it. So I don't know. It's another baffling rule to me how they, I know a lot of times they try to let the team that's not been the home team be the home team. Your higher seed should be the home team. They've earned it at that point. But it'll be Sechrist tomorrow. I think Tennessee's the home team. I don't know. They may come up with something ridiculous that says that Tennessee's not the home team tomorrow. It would not shock me in the least. Sechrist, and then I think turn it over to Snead. And, hopefully we can get 5 to 6 out of Sechrist tomorrow. But my guess is they'll have Snead ready to go if Sechrist gets in trouble early with it. Obviously, we don't know who will be playing. It'll depend on with Indiana and Southern Miss tomorrow. With either team, you're going to see their 4th guy. So you're probably seeing like a midweek guy for them. And I don't know, based on what I had seen of each team and their pitching staffs coming in, I like Tennessee's chances to put some runs up tomorrow evening. I really do. Let's see. I'm not blind after a few innings. The ump opened the strike zone, but only for the Indiana pitchers. I mean, and that says something too with them still walking 11. I hope we don't see Indiana again. Scrappy team, man. Scrappy team. Good team. They hit. They played good baseball at the end of the year. I think the difference between Indiana and Tennessee is pitching. Not saying Indiana's on par with Tennessee hitting wise. Tennessee's a better hitting team, but Indiana, they're a pretty good hitting team. I mean, I want to look at their stats here tonight because they had 12 strikeouts themselves tonight, 4 walks. That was kind of the big difference. I mean, out of their pitchers tonight, I think they burned about 4 guys tonight because their starter threw 91. Their next 3 guys threw 43, 44, 44. So they basically burned 4 guys tonight. I would not be surprised at all to see Southern Miss tomorrow night. I really wouldn't. And you know what? Bring it. They can bring. I want to look at Southern Miss actually out of curiosity. I want to look at their pitching. Let me pull up their stats here for the year, and I'll even share my screen with it once it comes up here. Let's see. I know today. Let's see. I want to go back to their game today with Southern Miss, and looking at score. How about them Vanderbilt Commodores going to the house? High Point took care of business with them today. All right, Southern Miss today. Southern Miss had to play visitors too. So Matza, 9 innings through a complete game, 120 pitches. So they saved pretty much their bullpen today. That's a pretty big boost for Southern Miss. All right, I've got some stats here for Southern Miss. Let me pull my screen, and I'll get back into more comments here in a minute. So let's look. Again, I'm going on the assumption that I really think we probably see Southern Miss tomorrow night. All right, here we go. I'm looking at now. Obviously, here's their lineup. Here's their main guys: Dalton McIntyre, Slade Wilkes, Matthew Russo. 3 guys with double-digit bombs. Other than that, I mean, they hit 294, stolen bases 43 out of 60. They've got 4 guys. 5 guys over 300 in their regular lineup. A decent team, but I mean, I don't think it's anything they haven't seen, to be honest with you. See, Matza. Let's see, he's 3.99. So I'm assuming you're probably going to see. I think Oldham started last night. Looking at your games started, it looks like down here Will Armistead or Cole Boswell. Both of them. I mean, one of them's probably starting against Indiana tomorrow. And the other, if they get to that, will be Tennessee. I mean, you look at these ERAs down through here. I mean, you see Sawyer Tony, who's thrown 1 inning. So I don't know what's up with that. You got Josh Ock. I'm assuming 1.23. He's got 1 save. Looks like Colby Allen's the closer for them, 3.86. That's pretty respectable. They're 9-2 with 7 saves. So it looks like that's a guy, he's saved and fresh for tomorrow. Looks like a decent bullpen for Southern Miss. Some guys that, looking at kind of strikeout numbers here. Allen, 74 Ks and 58 and a third innings. Chandler Best, 38 strikeouts, 33 and a third. Ock, 17 and 14 and 2/3. JB Middleton. Let's see what he's got here. 41 strikeouts and 34 innings. So they got some arms in that pen. But the further you get into it, those ERAs are pretty high right there. And Southern Miss, I mean, something to keep in mind with them or Indiana, either one. They can't really just go in planning to save guys for tomorrow night because if they try to save guys for tonight, they'll be on the bus tomorrow night. Let's see, we've got 76 in here right now. Pretty good night, pretty good crowd. 24 short of 100. One night, man, 100. I want to see 100 in here. Hopefully, as this thing continues to go, this thing will keep building up to it as well. Pitchers have to adjust to umpire strike zones. I totally agree. Especially, if it's a catcher, I think your catcher should be the one relaying that. And, I'm sure they probably are. Hopefully questions are being asked in that dugout. But, yeah, you're exactly right, David. I totally agree with you. When an umpire's calling it one way, you have to adjust to it. It is what it is. Their strike zone may not be the right thing. But, if you know what it is, you do have to adjust to it. I totally agree with that one. Secret Sneed. I think we're in pretty good shape for tomorrow night. I really do. I think we're in good shape to end it tomorrow. I don't want to get to Monday. I don't want to go to Monday. I want to go ahead and end it tomorrow night for sure. You never want to go to those F games, especially – if you're Tennessee, if they went to Monday, do they turn around and throw Stamos again? Because he threw very low. I laughed today reading the comments about Tony Vitello from last night. I would love to be just in these huddles and stuff they have because he talks about some of these dudes are furious. And we talked about it on here last night, how Stamos looked like he was not too happy about it. And, it's like Tony Vitello said. He said, I love our team. I love what he said. I would, he basically said if a guy was not upset about getting pulled or if a guy's not upset about not being in the lineup, be more concerned about it. I don't want guys that are happy for getting pulled or not being in the lineup. That tells me they're content, right? They're content just to be there and be along for the ride with it. I totally agree with what he says there. Let's see. Laura Hubbard, what's up? Good to see you in here. 13 hits, 13 left on base for sure. Yep. Good night. Some good and bad tonight for sure. I did not realize this one. I must have missed him saying Tears is 0 for 10. Has he not hit a grand slam, though, this year? I swear I thought he had hit a grand slam, and I may be wrong on that. But I was thinking at some point he has hit a slam. But, I'm going to go with you on that those stats are accurate. The bats were impressive earlier on, for sure. And then they did some things later on with it. This regional here, how about Arizona gone? I said coming into that game, Arizona and Grand Canyon was going to be one to watch. And Grand Canyon put it on them last night. And then Dallas Baptist, they put it on Arizona today. Arizona, the 1 seed, they are gone. So it's tonight, Grand Canyon, West Virginia. I'd watch out for Grand Canyon. They're kind of like Evansville. I would not be surprised to see Grand Canyon come out of that region. They got a good baseball program. That was a brutal regional with Arizona, West Virginia, Dallas Baptist, and Grand Canyon. The fact that Dallas Baptist was, I think, the 3 seed in that's crazy. I may be wrong. I may have them in West Virginia flip-flop, but that regional was just crazy with it. I thought Chapel Hill regional looked rough. The Greenville regional looked pretty rough. I actually won't look at. Let me see what scores ended up. Of course, Vanderbilt's gone. East Carolina Wake. What a game today. Burns got ran early. Dude hit the 3-run bomb off of him. Let's see. I'm thinking Stetson beat Alabama. Alabama's out of it, if I'm not mistaken. Bama gone. Arizona gone. North Carolina beat LSU tonight. I really wondered if LSU wasn't getting hot at the right time, but North Carolina, that's a couple SEC teams people were high on. Virginia come back, beat Mississippi State 5-4. NC State beat South Carolina. Clemson got Coastal late 4-3. Kentucky took care of business. Georgia took care of business. Evansville to win. Oklahoma State beat Florida. Florida State's up 5-1. Arkansas's up. Texas is up. Connecticut's up. Grand Canyon, West Virginia. All your West Coast games starting now. Like I said, Grand Canyon and West Virginia should be a good one tonight. I've kind of been on that Grand Canyon wagon a little bit so far. If I'm LSU tomorrow too, I better watch out for Wofford. Again, they'll get Wofford again. Wofford gave them a game yesterday. LSU's getting down in their pitching out of their top guys. Wofford can hit. They're one of the best offenses in college baseball. If LSU's not careful, they'll be going to the house early tomorrow. Now, with that said, obviously LSU has the talent that they can do their thing as well. But what a crazy tournament so far. Some interesting results. Only negatives, a lot of men left on base, no sense of urgency to put the game away. I would agree with that. I would totally agree with that. What they left the bases loaded, numerous times tonight. And then, I still think Beam, him setting so long, especially a couple innings in a row, I think it caught up with him because he was sharp to begin with. Banky, what he did, I was thinking he has saved that bullpen, and then Phillips and Lloyd come in, and they just did not have good nights tonight. Combs come in, put the fire out. I still got to think, even though he threw 28 tonight, that he'll be ready to go tomorrow. JL, yeah, absolutely. Long-ass game. It most certainly was. Richard Grindstaff, good to see you. Greetings from Bristol, Tennessee. All right, good to see you in here, Richard. Hopefully you're holding the fort down up there in Bristol. So much for Wake. Maybe Chase will come watch the Vols tomorrow. You never know. You never know. Reese Chapman's had two rough nights. He had the base hit to start last night that got a run in. Of course, I think the Northern Kentucky guy kicked the ball around, but then after that, Chapman's had a rough couple nights. And, it's one thing to strike out again. I was pretty hot with him tonight. You're not hitting the ball, and then you can't get your freaking bunt down. I mean, can't get the bunt down, and then just hits a lazy fly ball to left field and doesn't move anybody. That's, when you're striking out, when you've got that opportunity to make a contribution and move guys, you've got to be able to do that. He failed in that. I totally expect tomorrow night we'll see somebody else at DH. I just don't see how you're running back out there after the two nights he's had tonight. I really don't. SEC not faring as well today. Bama and Vandy at home. LSU got beat. Mississippi State got beat. South Carolina got beat. Florida got beat. Let's see, who was one? A&M and Arkansas both playing right now. Tennessee won. Georgia won. Other than that, man, and Kentucky won. So not the greatest of days for the SEC, for sure. If we win, we will play whoever wins that East Carolina regional. So it's Evansville's got to be beat twice right now in that regional. So if Tennessee takes care of business tomorrow, they'll wait whoever wins that Greenville regional. And so it will be East Carolina against VCU tomorrow. Or I'm assuming noon or 1 o'clock, probably noon. And then it will be the winner of that plays Evansville tomorrow evening. And then if Evansville wins, Evansville will play the winner of the Knoxville regional for sure. So, that's what a lot of the hype was. People were picking Wake Forest and, of course, getting Wake Forest against Tennessee next weekend, but not going to happen now. I still would not be surprised to see East Carolina come back out of that. But with them at home, that environment over there is just, it's mad crazy. I would love to go to a game over there. But, what a game today with them and Wake Forest as well. Alabama rolls out. I did too. I wanted to see Phillips. I was happy to see him in, that they went to him with gave him the ball. I was hoping he would build off of last weekend. And, it was kind of back to those. It's kind of with him, one good, one bad. And tonight was that bad outing for sure. Banky was awesome. Banky come in, I was a little concerned at first. He'd come in and the first batter he walked him on 4 pitches and they were not even close. But he settled down after that, and he pitched some really good baseball after that. G Man in the house. Let's go Vols. Aaron Height, what's up, man? Good seeing you here. Yeah, I don't know what in the world happened on that one. Again, I don't know if the ball was moving. I don't know if the wind was catching it. It was just, I have no idea. It was just, it was ugly for sure. Antigua, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it was all on Antigua or what happened with that, because it seemed to me like more was, uh, I don't know. I just don't know on that what happened with it, and it could have been Antigua's fault cutting him off. This is a good point, man, especially with that pitch. Awfully long game with the pitch clock, and normally that pitch clock shortens it up, but not tonight. That was a long game. Great game tonight. I mean, it was. I don't know. I feel like there was a couple times I was starting to lose my focus on it. It just seemed like it kept dragging on, and so many. I don't know. I guess it wasn't. What was it? About 9 pitching changes total. Just a lot of long at bats. It seemed like tonight. Yeah, absolutely. We're at 66. We got right up to 80. Back down to 66. Still good crowd tonight. Good crowd on here. Make sure you hit that like, you share. If you have not already, we finally hit 1,200 subscribers. It's been right there all week. It's like it'd be at $12.99, and then somebody would unsubscribe, and it finally hit 1,200 a day. That's pretty cool. It's 6 months. I guess I've completed now 5 full months on this channel. Honestly, at this point, I was hoping to be around 500 subscribers. The fact it's at 1,200 is pretty freaking cool. It is pretty cool. And we may hit a lull right now. There's not a lot of basketball news. There's no Lady Vols news that I can find with anything right now. Football news, for some reason, I've got to figure out this football game. Obviously, I could cover it, no doubt, but my football videos do nothing. I get more views out of baseball than I do football, which to me is kind of crazy. But I know there are other outlets that are pretty football heavy or primarily football focused. So I guess got to get a little creative on that front for sure. But I'll still put baseball and basketball coverage up against anybody on here, and that's not me saying other channels are bad or nothing like that. It's not me boasting that I'm the man or nothing like that, but I feel pretty confident in what the content I deliver out for baseball and basketball. That I feel it's I try to do a lot of research, try to be very factual on it, and I feel a lot of it's pretty good coverage. There's some stuff that I'm like, it could be a little better, but the thing is, we're just scratching the surface with this channel 5 months in. It's gone a lot faster than I anticipated. Not that I haven't been prepared for it along the way, but right now we're kind of hitting that lull where there's just not a lot out there. So I'm kind of, looking at some things to do to bring on here just for some interesting stuff as well. Yeah, Antigua. I mean, now they did say it. They were right in how they said it on the telecast. Your shortstop, as a lot of you know, it's kind of like the quarterback of the infield. But based on where that ball hit, yeah, you got to let Christian Moore take that one. But still, it just I don't know. I don't know if it was a case Moore started out back and was working his way in, and Antigua just decided to cut him off, or what happened. I'll be interested to see if they ask Vitello about that or anything. I'm going to see if there's anything on here yet from Vitello. I wish there was a way to find like the actual post game for him. I don't know if there's anything. Glad to see that the outlets that normally don't. I guess I'm being kind of a baby and a complainer on this. I want to see the outlets that Never do post games. All of a sudden, do it when it's postseason. It's always just great, but it is what it is. All right, here's a few quotes on here tonight. Vitello said, "I thought arguably the biggest part of today's game was what Banky did for us." Vitello, this is the best he's ever seen Banky pitch. And he said his second appearance as Hoover was as good as I've ever seen him throw the ball. I think tonight's the most amount of pitches he's thrown for since being here, so you could call it his most complete outing. Let's see. They asked Vitello the favorite part about his offense or the offense. He said, "I said Indiana's offense really complete top to bottom, but our guys have that quality too. It's the balance. Any given day, it can be any hitter. Anyone in that lineup is capable of getting to you." And here's a little bit about the pitching. Vitello said the plan all along was to use Combs tonight, but Banky flipped the script a little bit. Said he thought Marcus Phillips threw the ball better than the results indicated, and he said Lloyd was a little too fired up tonight. So that makes sense. Any of you that have been around, I'm sure plenty of you have coached, you've watched plenty of baseball. You just see those guys come in sometimes. I thought this was funny back some of the years I coached. It's like the end of the year, I look back on things, and it's like I had guys roles. I'd have guys coming in relief, and it's like they wouldn't get it done. But when I'd start them, they were fine, and vice versa. I'd have guys that I would think, all right, I found my ace here, and then I'd start them, and they blow through their pitch count in no time. But bring me out of the bullpen, calm, relax. It's just funny how guys work out like that, just depending on the role. But and you get those guys too come in amped up, especially when you're throwing the speed these dudes are playing. I mean, I can't imagine coming in, when you do in this type of environment, in this type of tournament. You got your family there to see you play. You may have your girlfriend out there cheering you on, and all your buddies and all this stuff, especially with Lloyd being a local guy. That music hits, you come in, you get that blood flowing. I'm sure the guys on the mound are firing you up and amping you up. And you just, I think that would be a lot easier said than done, just to come in and be even kill. I really do. I can't imagine how hard that is. Here to make sure Xander's in bed and not in the chat. Yeah, supposedly Xander showed up here. He swore up and down it was him. That'd be really cool if it was. I don't know about it. So we'll see. Chapman, I can't see it, man. I'm with you on this one, Tim. Doesn't DH 4 strikeouts? I mean, 6 in 2 games. I got to think Bargo probably gets a shot tomorrow. Combs went 28 tonight, I think is what it was. Let me go back to that again. I'm pretty sure it was 28. Combs was 28 tonight. I would still think that would leave him available tomorrow. And I agree on this one as well. It would not shock me, especially after Loy throwing tonight. I mean, I think it's either Stamos or Loy if they were to get to Monday. Hopefully they don't. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Stamos again. And then at that point, man, that'd be interesting to see how they would manage that if it goes to it. Because, if Stamos comes in like last night and doesn't have it, I don't think Causey would be ready. I mean, who knows? I can't see Beam being ready on 2 days rest, or really 1 full day rest. Now, I can't see Causey because he threw over 100 pitches last night. I think a lot of it may depend on Snead tomorrow or Combs. Again, let's hope we don't have to worry about that. That's my preference. We just take care of business tomorrow, and I think this team will have a good chance to do it. I really do. I think they just seem to me like a team. I go back to 2 years ago. That team that set all these records and stuff. Something was off with them when they got to the postseason. Something was off. I don't know what it was, but they just looked to me like a team. They got challenged. They got challenged by Georgia Tech. I mean, that's when Jordan Beck's shooting birds out. Did they play Campbell? Was that right? They played Campbell in a game. I know they saw Georgia Tech. I'm thinking they saw Campbell. And then I can't remember who the other team was they played. Campbell could have been another tournament, possibly. But I know Georgia Tech was the Jordan Beck from the Bird game. But something was just off that offseason. And then Notre Dame come in, and Notre Dame kind of punked them a little bit. Guys just didn't seem that into it. I mean, that's what led to the Jordan Beck slamming the bat, which I loved it. Jordan Beck got killed for it. All these baseball traditionalists, yet JT Real Muto did it against the Braves, and it was the greatest thing ever. Jordan Beck does it, and he's a piece of crap or whatever. It's not right. I've seen numerous guys it's a good thing it's not me on the mound, or he'd be wearing one in his ear hole or something. A lot of these guys that say it, they're gutless. They wouldn't do anything. They would not do anything. I mean, I would say this: if I'm a coach and my guy does something and that's your retaliation to it, you better be ready to scrap after that. If you don't want a guy celebrating, don't give up home run. That's my thing on it. There are things like I saw a game the other night, and I didn't have a problem with any of it. It was, which tournament was it? Some of you probably saw it as well. It was, gosh, I can't remember off the top of my head, but a dude was going around second, and the shortstop was standing in the way. The guy running ran him over. They got, I think, base interference. Well, that guy that run the shortstop over the next time he'd come up to bat, the pitcher for that team plunked him. But I didn't have a problem with any of it. It was guys taking up for their I didn't have a problem with the guy running the dude over because he was in the way. And then I didn't have a problem with the team taking up for his guy in that situation either. But I don't know. I hate the part when you give up a home run and your retaliation is to hit a guy the next time because he celebrated. If you go over the top and you taunt, you talk trash and what have you, that's one thing. But there's so many celebrations. Guys get fired up. It is what it is. You don't like it, don't give up a home run. And that's, that's the same for Tennessee. That's the same for whomever. Tennessee guys get fired up when they do it. Tennessee has to be prepared. If they give one up to a team that takes a lead or something like that, that team's going to get fired up. The bottom line is it's part of it. It just is. Tennessee should not be the visiting team this entire tournament. They're the number one overall seed in the entire tournament. They should not be the visitor in the entire tournament. The problem with all this stuff is NCAA ranks 16 teams, and then there should be, and this is the same with basketball, there should be an actual 1 through 64 ranking with it, because I still say Northern Kentucky was not the 64th best team in this tournament. Evansville, by chance, is somewhere from the 49th to the 64th best team. Same with Grand Canyon. You can't tell me those teams were 4 seeds. You just can't. That was more of, especially with Grand Canyon, them wanting to put them in Arizona together. I have no doubt about that. I don't like the system. There should be a formula in it that's cut and dry and pretty simple, where you rank teams 1 to 64. And it should be that way really leading up to the tournament. And it should be something they should be able to update easily. That way there's no surprises on announcement day. I know that takes away some of the intrigue of it, but still, yeah. You're a team that's sitting there waiting for your name to be called, and it doesn't, especially when you're a College of Charleston who should have been in. I don't know. There has to be some kind of formula, to me, that just shows along the way where we're at with it. And it needs to be accurate, that the one team is playing the 64, 263, and so on with it. It's not that difficult. It is the NCAA we're talking about. Love his team got to stop hitting batters. Will come back and bite us. Yeah, they had tonight. 3 hit batters? 3 hit batters, 4 walks. Not too bad. I like how they fixed those walks. Now, some of the guys doing the walking was midweek guys, but Banky, 2 walks. Beam had a walk. Of course, Beam had a hit by pitch. No, he had 2 of them. And then Phillips as well. I expect Beam, if they get to next weekend, to be much better than this. I really do. I expect him to be much better. see what else we got here. Hopefully, after a long night, we'll come out ready to play. The good thing is Tennessee does not have to turn around and play that noon game tomorrow. So they still pretty much get their full day's rest out of, obviously not the full 24 hours, but, they're not going to play till 6 o'clock tomorrow. Indiana having to turn around and play that noon game. That may be a tough chore for them. I still think it's a big advantage for Tennessee tomorrow night. And if you're Tennessee, what you want to see tomorrow is two teams that have to exhaust all their pitching options. You don't want to see, I don't think you want to see another option where it's a low-scoring game and two pitchers are basically throwing complete games. If you're Tennessee, I think you want to see a slugfest tomorrow where both teams are exhausting a lot of pitchers, a lot of effort. And then when you get to tomorrow night, you're Tennessee, you come in and just lay it on them. I really think that's what you want to see. How about them Commodores watching from the house? High Point took care of them. Yes, Eric Jones, what's up, man? 12-6 is what it ended up tonight for sure. The Whistler, I hope he had a good day. Yep, he can whistle on back to Nashville. A&M tied it up with Texas. Yep. Tough, long game. Absolutely agree with this one, Ty. I hope we see a tough, long game tomorrow. And, there's a part of me wants to see us put Southern Miss out. I just think there's some, I don't know, after last year and stuff, nothing against Indiana. Normally, I would rather see Indiana beat them. But I don't know. I wouldn't mind to see it. Hey, here's our LSU guy, John J. Hey, thanks for helping drive the analytics, John. Appreciate that. Kyle Beach. Okay, so yeah, that's what Greg said earlier. Man, I swear I thought Tears had hit a grand slam earlier this year, but obviously he hasn't. So interesting. He's 0 for 10 with it. I did not realize that. That's pretty good stuff, you guys. I agree with this one. I'd watch out for East Carolina. The fact that they won today. My big concern with East Carolina's bullpen, what I saw, I think their bullpen's better than they looked today, but they had a rough day. Oh, K-State up 6. Let me pull some scores up here right now. Whoa, K-State up 6-2. Let's see. Florida State's up. Looks like most of these are done. Let's see. So Northern Kentucky's out. Vanderbilt's out. How about Long Island, man? You got to feel for them. They had North Carolina on the ropes last night, and then North Carolina hits that walk-off to beat them. Normally when that happens, it's kind of similar to Tennessee and Wright State a few years ago. Wright State right there had it. Tennessee breaks their heart. Those teams come out the next day just tough to come back from. Wofford puts them out. Our LSU buddy, John J., I'm telling you, man, if your pitching's off tomorrow, Wofford's sending you home. Wofford's going to send you home if that pitching's off because they can hit. They can hit. Now, with that said, Wofford, what's their pitching going to look like tomorrow as well? Tennessee's the only team I'm putting. Yep, same here. I don't pull for any of the rest of the SEC. None of. I don't really have a problem with, say, I can't really say I have a big problem with A&M. I mean, the rest of them, though, if they all go out, that's fine with me. Vanderbilt's gone. Let's see, St. John's put Penn out. Wake Forest gone. Let's see, K-State. K-State rolled over Louisiana Tech, and that's carrying over to tonight. Western Michigan's out. Army's out. Bryant is out. Niagara's out. Duke put out Oral Roberts. Southeast Missouri State took care of Louisiana Tech. Grambling's out. Alabama is out. Arizona, the number one's out. Let's see. Looks like Nichols out. Fresno State is out. And then North Carolina beat LSU. Clemson wins. North Carolina State. Virginia. Good day for the ACC other than Wake Forest, it looks like. Kentucky rolled. Georgia rolled. Evansville roll. Of course, Tennessee won Oklahoma State, Florida State. Some pretty good games going on here. Oregon State up 2-0. Love it when you have an Alexa just start going off in the background here. Let's see. Drago. Hey, Frank, what's up? Drago, good to see you in here. 154 for the season. Yeah, they were showing that tonight. Program records 158. The main announcer just said, well, they're going to break that. And it's not a guarantee, man. I mean, that's 4 home runs against tournament teams you've got to get. Could they break? I mean, you could see them break it tomorrow. You could see them break it by next weekend, but how much higher will they get if Tennessee is to get to Omaha? I mean, it's hard to hit a lot of bombs there. Let's see. So since Tennessee beat Indiana today, when and who do they play next? So they'll play the winner of Indiana and Southern Miss. Those two play tomorrow I think it's noon. And then tomorrow night, Tennessee will play at 6 o'clock. So if Tennessee wins, they're through to the Super Regional. If they lose, they'll play again on Monday. East Carolina, yeah, they're a good team. They're going to have their hands full, though. VCU still scored 11 runs and got beat tonight by 6. So their pitching's not only. I expect East Carolina to beat ECU, and then that Evansville, East Carolina should be interesting. Should be very interesting. Let's see. What's up, Robert Duncan? Glad to beat Indiana. Go Vols. Kirby Cannell, yeah, always out running. That dude has a motor that just never stops. He's always running around and stuff. And I think they could just tell him come in out of the dugout and he'd be ready to go. I don't even know if he would even have to throw a warm-up pitch. I'd say I want Southern Miss. I want to bring them on too. Yeah, it's a good point here. Not winning anything if they don't break the record. 4 home runs to tie it, 5 to break it. Absolutely. Who'll be pitching? Xander Sechrist will start tomorrow. We'll see how many innings he goes. Hopefully we can get like last weekend where he went, 6 innings? That'd be huge. That would be absolutely huge for this team tomorrow. And then you can get it to Snead, and then you got Cannell and Combs ready to go. You've got your pretty much 3 main guys ready to go at that point. Vandy is sitting about the same place we are. They're watching at the house. So we were down today about 35 minutes from Clemson, and I said, well, any Vandy fans that travel down, so they can come down here to the lake. Now it's only about 35 minutes, and since they don't have anything else to do the rest of the weekend, I guess they can go hit the lake down here, or they can go back to Nashville, one of the two. It would not surprise me if Kirby went up there and served up a couple hot dogs and poured a couple Pepsis and possibly even ran on over to the beer side and cracked a couple beers for the people too. It would not surprise me at all. He may even go in there and pop a little bit of popcorn too. Dude can do it all. Yeah, I'll be live after every post-season game the rest of the way, for sure. So I'll be live tomorrow. Hopefully we don't have to do a Monday show. And then if Tennessee gets into the Super, I'll be live next weekend. They get into Omaha, I'll be live after each game with that as well. But, yep, definitely going to be live the rest of the season on that one. Hopefully we can get this one up to 100 at some point. That'd be really cool. I know that a little more competition now we're in the postseason. It was kind of similar to basketball. All of a sudden it got to that point, and your outlets that normally don't do it decide it's time to do postseason. And ones with much bigger followings than I am. But this thing's doing pretty good. We got a good audience. We got a good crowd in here. Oh, got a good. I want Indiana easiest path to the Supers with the pitching they have left. It's a good point. It's a good point. I'm curious to see. I'm thinking Southern Miss is going to have an advantage tomorrow with their guy throwing the complete game that saved their bullpen up today. Um, I think Indiana is going to have their work cut out for them tomorrow. But I mean, the thing with Indiana is they can hit, but what's their pitching going to look like? I think pitching wise, that advantage is going to go to Southern Miss tomorrow, and Southern, Indiana's coming back after such a long game. I think they're at a big disadvantage tomorrow. But I mean, you guys have heard my philosophy the whole time. I bring any of them on. Tennessee's the number one seed. Bring them all on. But yeah, it's a very valid point. I think with Indiana's pitching, but either way you go, I think you're going to face like a midweek guy because they can't save pitchers at this point if it's a close game or especially if it's one of these where both teams are hitting. We are definitely in line for a traditional Sunday, and hopefully we don't have to worry about Monday. I don't think we will. I think we take care of business tomorrow. I think it's business as usual tomorrow. I think Xander will do his thing tomorrow. Snead will be ready to roll, and then I think we're set up good for tomorrow. I'm curious to see if they go with Bargo at DH. I just can't see Trot and Chapman back out. Other than that, it's really going to be, even if Sechrist is off, man, I think they go to Snead pretty quick, but you're going to have to still have somebody in there to fill that gap in the long. Kirby can come in and throw multiple innings, but if that offense shows up tomorrow, this team will roll. This team will roll tomorrow, and I still cannot stress enough the job. You think back earlier in the season, a lot of us were, then just doing videos pretty much. And a lot of the conversations about how this bullpen and the walks and stuff. But what a job Frank Anderson and this staff has done this year. I think it's the best job that they have done since at UT. And I don't say that lightly because they did a pretty good job last year getting that turned around from where that team was at the start of conference play to where they were to end to get to Omaha. But the job they've done this year with A.J. Russell, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to make a statement that some of you may not agree with. I think it's possible we might have seen A.J. Russell pitch his last game in Knoxville. What I mean, I'm not saying he's going to hit the portal. My fear is that elbow is worse than we're thinking on it. The fact that he's unavailable this weekend, I really don't think he pitches again. My fear, the way it won't heal, is there's a surgery coming. If that happens, it's possible his UT career is done. Not saying he won't pitch again. I'm just saying that, you get to the draft. If it's a Tommy John surgery on the elbow with it, you rehab, you're good to go. Look at the Atlanta Braves. Okay? Spencer Strider. I mean, of course, he's on his second one now. That didn't scare Schwellen. What's his name? Schwellenbach that threw the other night. Coming off Tommy John a couple years ago. The Braves aren't afraid of that. If they see a guy with talent like that, if Russell does, I hope that's not the option. I hope it's just the case of get him rested. Maybe it's a little bit of a cleanup and he's ready to go next year. I do have a fear on this one, though, that it's worse than expected. And maybe they've just been trying to avoid the obvious with it. And I saw a guy on, which one was it? It may have been on 24/7. A guy said he works closely, I think, in Birmingham with some of maybe it's James Andrews or something. And he said he's concerned on this one, concerned it could be worse. So what I'm looking at, if Russell has that surgery, if it comes to it, and again, I hope it doesn't. I'm speculating on my part. I have a concern on it with him not being active, and it just seems it's not healing at all. But if he does have to have a major surgery, he's probably out next year, and then there's a good chance teams. again, the biggest thing I've heard is if it's elbow, you're good. If it's shoulder, that's where the concern is. That's why the Braves traded Kyle Wright this offseason, because he has a shoulder injury that's put him out. And I was reading the stuff on only a couple guys have been able to come back successfully from that shoulder surgery. So the fact that Russell's is an elbow, he may need a surgery at some point with it, but then he'll probably come back stronger than he is. We'll see. I hope I'm wrong on this one. I hope I'm wrong, but it is speculation on my part. And like I said, it's, I'm kind of getting repetitive here, but I hope I'm wrong. But I do have concerns with it for sure. Yeah, he definitely said that. I saw it last night where he said Russell is not available this weekend. It looked to me like he wouldn't be available the rest of the season. I don't know. I can't remember if he said the rest of the season or not, Tim. You may have seen that. I can't remember right now, but it does not seem to me like he's going to be available with it. And I think they talked about, too, said they pretty much now there's not that wondering whether he's going to pitch, guys wondering roles, said it's pretty much set in stone what's going to happen now. So it's I think he's going to be shut down for the rest of the season at this point. I don't know that it's if he can give you an inning, and especially they talked about they just don't think it'll be him being him, especially going back like he was against Texas Tech earlier in the season. So the best case maybe it's rest, get it cleaned up, he's ready to go next year. There is a worst case too, in that we don't see him pitch for Tennessee again. So hopefully that's not the case. But we'll see if there's any more. Not really much more on the comments. So that's where we're at on this one. And but at this point, a win's a win. Doesn't all have to be pretty. The only thing that has to be pretty is the score on that scoreboard, which read Tennessee 12, Indiana 6. Tennessee will go tomorrow night at 6 o'clock against the winner of Indiana and Southern Miss. If Tennessee wins that, they are off to the Super Regionals, which would be in Knoxville the next weekend. If they are to lose tomorrow, then we'll be back at it again on Monday. I'm curious to see what the weather's like tomorrow because I know there's rain in the forecast. But, I'm sure they'll do what they have to get those games in tomorrow. But I'll be back with you tomorrow evening after the game. Hopefully it won't be as late as it is tonight. But, hopefully Tennessee can come out, take care of business, do what they have to tomorrow. And I do think they will. I feel pretty confident in this team. They just seem like a laid-back team. They're having multiple guys step up and do things these last 2 weeks. They had multiple pitchers step up in that SEC tournament. You had a guy like Banky step up tonight and do his thing. I mean, the game A.J. Causey did yesterday. Somebody will step up tomorrow. I'm betting on Sechrist to step up tomorrow. What I'm expecting around tomorrow, I'm going to go with tonight in the rest of these games. I'm going to give the Frank Rock predictions tonight. I'm going with Grand Canyon to beat West Virginia tonight. Oregon State, Santa Barbara, I think they roll. Will Arkansas come back? I think that's a big question here. Florida State's about ready to win based on what I'm seeing tomorrow. So you're going to have Southern Miss against Indiana, High Point against Coastal Carolina. I think Coastal will beat High Point. Wofford against LSU. LSU's pitchers better be on it or Wofford will bounce them tomorrow. I would go with LSU in that one. And then LSU, of course, have to double it North Carolina. Pretty good North Carolina team at that. East Carolina, I expect East Carolina to beat VCU. I would not be surprised to see East Carolina and Evansville go into Monday. Indiana State will be back in to play, Illinois tomorrow. I think Kentucky will see Indiana State tomorrow evening. See, Georgia Tech will play. Let's see who Georgia beat today. It was UNC Wilmington. So Wilmington, Georgia Tech. I wouldn't be surprised to see Georgia Tech and Georgia tomorrow night. James Madison gets their chance at revenge against South Carolina. James Madison might send South Carolina to the house tomorrow night. Nebraska will get Florida tomorrow. Let's see, did Caglione pitch today? I'm kind of curious on that one. Let's see. Caglione did pitch today, so he won't pitch tomorrow. I think if Nebraska, I think Nebraska did win. Nebraska beat 9. I would not be surprised to see Nebraska put Florida out tomorrow. And if Connecticut holds on to beat Oklahoma, it's Duke and Oklahoma. One of them going to the house tomorrow. It could be interesting. Central Florida will play. Is it Stetson that beat Alabama? I'd expect Central Florida to get back to Florida State tomorrow. Curious to see if Arkansas mounts a comeback. A&M Texas tied at 1. Top of the 6th. Some good baseball on tonight. Still, it's going to be a late one tonight. But like I said, I'll be with you tomorrow right after the game. And if there's any kind of basketball news breaks, men's or women's, I'll try to update on that. Football, if there's anything of substantial news, I'll bring some stuff on here. I know a lot of you follow other channels, this and that with it, but hopefully we can start amping that. I don't know. The football's just not my concern right now. We're in baseball. We're in the heat of baseball season, and this we'll keep building this thing as we go. Thank you guys for tuning in with me tonight. We had a good crowd. I'll see you tomorrow night, hopefully around 9:30, hopefully a little earlier than tonight. And you guys have a good rest of your evening, a good Sunday morning. And last, but most certainly not least, go Vols.